Here we go again, October 20th, 2025. There's the gate. There's my golf cart. First, this is like part of a continuing nightmare, this would be Tower, Dangerous Tower, the sequel. I put the gate in. They took out my culvert and put in a smaller culvert. The purpose of all this is to fix up the fire road. I'm under a citation from Volusia County to put in a fire road. If I don't put in a fire access road, I'm subject to, I think it's a $500 a day fine. So I'm highly motivated to get my fire road in place. And that citation, which basically has a 60-day limit on it, was over a year ago. So at that time, because nothing was being done, I went to the county and the fire marshal. I said, listen, apparently it's going to fall upon me to get and put in a fire road. What do I have to do? Well, you need a building permit. The first thing everybody said, you need a building permit. So I go and talk about building permits, and I spoke with Volusia County. Along with the building permit, first place, I needed to submit a survey. Second, engineering plans. Those engineering plans, as we go up the road, I want to point out, you can talk about the fines and the heavies. The fine material has been washed from the road, leaving this heavier material. This is supposed to be a 30-year all-weather road so trucks at 40,000 pounds could get in here with no problem. They won't sink away. And days after it was constructed, and parts of it feel pretty strong. Oh, here's a spot right there. Didn't even see this one. This is supposed to be under 6 inches of material. Solid road deck material. Boom, gone. So this whole area here, water was running over it. And you can see it's removed the fine areas. It wasn't there long enough to remove the road. It comes from a pond over here, but the pond is only representative of the water level that exists, right under all our feet here in this part of Volusia County. So going up the road, once again, got a washout space, the fine material, which is sand, and being scraped off the top there, all along here, completely all along here. So the road is deteriorating, and this was within 10 days of it being completed. 10 days. I'm hoping for 30 years. I get 10 days. And after Volusia County told me I needed engineers, I immediately go to the local engineers. And they set up it was a kind of a checklist for me to do. And that was, first, you got to have a survey. A boundary line survey, and then placed on that is the easement, and placed on that is the existing road surface. Jump here for a while. Water went across here. It flows from the west to the east. And this road has become a dam. And the water hops over the dam, and as it goes over the dam, it erodes the road. And here's exactly what I'm talking about. It shouldn't be. This should not be here. This is, within this material, there is crushed concrete. I was told this was a crushed concrete road. Now, there are pieces of concrete. Here's concrete here. Here's concrete here. Concrete is white. Yes, little pieces of concrete. They're white. this stuff. It's called dirt. Dirt's brown. I'm not an expert on this, but to me it looks like dirt. Hey, right here, right here, right here. That's not it. I keep finding glass. Here's a piece right here. There's a piece. Here's a piece of glass. Glass sticking out of the road. What else? I found bits of metal that I've removed. Got this piece of glass. This is really tough glass, like plate glass. I'm looking for more here. Glass on the road. Perfect idea. So what's happened, we got the water building up on one side of the road, going down the other side of the road. Part of the engineering, matter of fact, a major part of it was the hydrology of the area. In other words, did I need a sheet flow analysis, which might have resulted in sodded swales or culverts in order to facilitate the flow of water. That's why you get a permit. The permit requires the requisite surveys, and then the engineers can come in and do a hands-on site inspection on the property and tell you exactly what you need. They do porosity tests in the soil. They do soil analysis. They do perk tests. Here's another spot. Washed out. Came across the road here, and what you've got is the lighter material within the road here. Now, I'm not a soil guy. I'm not a fire guy. But I do live on a beach, in New Smyrna Beach. And I think I know what sand is, and this is sand. They built the road out of sand. This is sand. It's nothing but, it doesn't compact. It's not the color of concrete. It's sand. And it's washed into the downside slope of the road, the east slope of the road. Here, this is supposed to be under 6 inches of hard surface. Here, right here. Boom. 6 inches of hard surface. Right there. Right there. Not hard surface, and it's not 6 inches. Broken tile. Where did they get this stuff? Probably crushing up houses. Once again, more. I was hoping I would never, ever, ever see the underlay again. 10 days after this dirt and rock was put down, here it washed out. Here's the sand. Boom. Here's the sand. And what was the sand supposed to do? Hold the road together? Actually, I thought it would. I thought whatever it was, by virtue of it being crushed concrete, has got binding properties that I didn't know about. But once it was squashed and it was here for a while, it would be stable so that trucks could drive on it and this place wouldn't wash out. And here you go right here. Now, this one spot, this is about halfway up the road. Now, this seems to me to be thick enough. Dig around a little bit, get down. I can go from here. I'm pivoting on my hand here. So that's about 5.5 inches. Even where it is thick enough. Down there, not thick enough. Here, it looks fine, in the middle, in the crown part, it looks to be, right here, about 6 inches. It didn't last 10 days. Didn't last 10 days. This is why you get a permit. A permit requires first a survey, then it requires that engineers come out here and they look at the sheet flow of water. And an engineer would know that the water goes from that side to this side. They would instruct you as to the amount of water flow in, say, a 10-year, 50-year, 100-year storm. And if swales were needed, and those swales would connect to a drainage system of culverts. Matter of fact, this would be a great place for a culvert. One would start there and in there. A little bit higher, a little bit lower. Water's going across it and eroding the road. An engineer coming out here would know this stuff, and that would be attached to and included within the permit. You're going to have your survey, you're going to have your engineering drawings, you're going to have your hydrology report, you're going to have your sheet flow of water, you're going to have everything that's required to put in a good, safe road that will support fire apparatus. And I'm under mandate. I have a citation number. I'm under a $500 a day fine if I don't put in a substantial fire access road. Volusia County's got a certain code for it. I got to pay $100 extra when I do my permit. It's 18.1.2.4. Got to give an extra $100. They come out and look at it. They communicate and work with the engineers to make sure that these kind of problems don't happen. But there was no permit pulled on this property. Therefore, no survey, therefore no engineering, therefore a piss poor job, and I'm still in violation of my citation. So here we go. It could have been so easy to do it once and do it right, and we're back to ground zero. Matter of fact, the clock has been ticking away on me for 1 year to do this and do it right. The party I leased to said, "Don't worry, we got it covered." Well, it's not covered. It's not permitted. It's an inadequate job. And you don't have to take it from me. Anybody looking at this road can tell you that after 10 days, this should not have happened. That's it. Bye-bye.